Tally-ho! Wings of silver, birds of steel. SilverHawks, Articulation.
What's up, you beautiful collectors and action figure fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of your support, especially those of you that are Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Super7 SilverHawks Colonel Bluegrass. The second in command for the SilverHawks is also one of my personal favorites because, in addition to that rank, he was also the pilot of the SilverHawks jet, the Mirage, which was one of the coolest things in all of the 80s. A vehicle that I never had, and why I'm hoping, with the success of the Super7 Thundercats Thunder Tank, I am really hoping that Super7 gives us a Mirage. For the package here, as you can see with a lot of Super7 figures, you do get this nice outer mailer. It says SilverHawks, Bluegrass. Come around on the back, you just have contact information. And then I have not opened this up. This is my first time doing it. I'm doing it right here on screen for all of you guys so that you can see my initial immediate reaction. The one thing that I actually like is that they have this really nice plastic on the outside here. I mean, it's cool that it's there. I don't care about it. I'm just going to rip this completely off. I haven't quite decided yet if I'm going to keep the packaging on all of these. I really do dig them. I just don't know necessarily if I want to keep the packaging. Don't you know, you got this stuff on here. Don't really use this because, you know, it can make babies suffocate, and that's bad. But here is, oh, and you can see how reflective that is. Oh, that's gorgeous. You got that really cool embossed SilverHawks logo there. Very reflective, very chrome, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, the figures aren't chrome, but they are painted in a way that resembles how they looked in the animation, and they did not have that chrome look. They had a very shiny look to them, but that was all done with cell shading and stuff. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to look in hand. All I've seen are like some preview videos that the Super7 people have put out, but nothing in hand yet. This is absolutely gorgeous. Come around to the back, you got this really nice embossed SilverHawks logo right there. There's me. And then, of course, this slides up. The back here has this very cool bluish image here. Again, that looks really nice. It's so reflective that it's almost hard to see because of my lights. But you do have a read up right here that if you'd like to read it, go ahead and pause that right there. A little bit of a backstory on them. But coming around, again, this is my first time looking at it. Top section here says Ultimates. Bottom section, contact information. Let's turn it around. And there he is. There's Bluegrass and all of his accessories. That guy looks so cool. And one thing that I am noticing is that as you move it around, there is a pearlescence to the actual paint on there. I know a lot of people are very upset that it's not chromed like those vintage figures. And he's actually one that I still have. But I like that they didn't go with the chrome look because chrome does not last over time. But this, as you move it around, has a very, I don't know, I mean, even in the package, you can kind of see the reflective nature of that paint job. That looks really cool. You have sidearm right there. You have the guitar. You have some musical notes and such. A couple different head sculpts. Absolutely phenomenal. Literally the only way that this could get better, I feel, is if he had that jacket that he wore when he would always do the trivia with the Copper Kid. That's the only way you can make it better, but I'm not even going to complain. So for the packaging on Bluegrass, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Bluegrass opened up and out of his packaging. And you know, these being my first figures from Super7, I really wasn't entirely sure what the phrase Ultimates meant. But now, getting this guy out here, it makes sense. This guy comes with a ton of accessories and really helps to kind of explain where that $55 price point comes from. I talked about it in my Monstar review, and realistically, they probably don't produce as many of these figures as, say, a company like NECA, who have to produce a lot to fill a bunch of stores. Now, granted, I'm sure Super 7 makes a ton of these, but nowhere near as many as what is necessary for a retail release. So that automatically is going to make the price a little bit higher. But that being said, in understanding and appreciating that fact, that $55 price, with it you get so much stuff here. Now, starting off first with his hands. In addition to some fairly relaxed ones, he's got a bunch here. He's got a hand that is more like a chopping sort of hand. You can see that's really basically all it is. You have another one that is more designed to look like he's holding a guitar pick, which is cool. And I like how it's on his right hand because his Hot Licks guitar is going to be going like that. So that makes total sense. You also have another one that is designed to kind of look like it's holding the neck here of Sideman in his guitar mode. You have another one here that's just a fist. You have another one that is an open hand, which works fairly good at gripping his lasso. You have another here that's him giving you a thumbs up, which, of course, because if you're doing that Copper Kid trivia, you need to know when you get the right answer. You also get another one that, again, is more open to kind of hold the neck of specifically Sideman. You also get a couple left hands here. Again, you get a left hand with the thumbs up position. You have another one that is a fist. Another one used to kind of, this is a more open one. Maybe this is kind of also for holding on to, I don't really know what he could hold on to. It's a more open gripping hand, but maybe like the neck of the guitar or something. And then you have another one that's more of a clutching kind of hand. Again, you know, maybe for like, yeah, kind of holding on to, yeah, that could kind of work. Oh, I could totally see that, especially where the fingers are positioned there. So you get a ton of hands with this guy, really allowing you to use just about any of these accessories wonderfully. As I mentioned, you do get a lasso in two different kind of configurations. Number one is this wrapped up version of it. It is a softer rubbery material. I do kind of wish there was a little hook thing here that you could put it on. That would be kind of cool. I'm trying to remember if he had that in the cartoon. I don't think he did, but that's nice to see. And then you do get a more open sculpted version of the lasso. You have the section right here, and it's all in a harder plastic, whereas this is more rubbery. This is definitely a heavier duty plastic. Oh, that's actually articulated. Oh my god. You can rotate that around. Ha! That's amazing. I didn't. So this is technically two pieces. I wonder if you can move that. So that's technically two pieces. That's impressive to see. That really is. But then you have this little holding section here, so you can make it look like he's holding this and whipping this around. Absolutely love that. That was definitely something that he utilized often. Not nearly as much, but he did use it sometimes. But this is what he used all the time. This is Hot Licks. This is his guitar that he would always be using when he would fly around and help to fight all the bad guys while he was piloting the Mirage. Unlike all the other Silverhawks, and even though he is the second in command, as I said, as a colonel, he cannot fly. He doesn't have the wings, and he also doesn't have the shoulder lasers that we see later on. This was his weapon, and this has a lot of amazing detail in here. Coming in to take a closer look, that is really very well done. The paint applications look really good on here. The strings, these are actually sculpted. You can feel the ridges as you're moving it, which is absolutely amazing. You got the different button things up here, gorgeous detail with the coloring and everything. You have a softer rubbery material for the actual strap. You get two of them, obviously for Hot Licks and Sideman, and these are separate pieces. You have to attach these. There's little holes in there, and what I found it was kind of easy to do was kind of push it on there and rotate and twist that on there. It is a tight fit, and I appreciate that. That way it's not going to really fall off too terribly easily. But you can see even on the back, you got some actual nice sculpt work in terms of getting the shape looking absolutely amazing. With some of the accessories, obviously, you do have some lighting effects. So you have this little blast effect here that comes around here. You got a little whole section in there. You plug that right in there like so, and you can have him blasting that out if you really wanted to. But realistically, that's not what you're going to want to use. You're going to want to use this, which is gorgeous. You see a semi-translucent note sort of thing, because when he would fight you, he would blast out notes from his guitar, and you can see very cool coloring here with the white, the lighter aqua color, a little bit more translucent here towards the tip. But again, that comes around and tabs right on there very nicely. Oh wait, what's going on? There you go, get that in there. Oh wait, no. Where's the little... There we go. Get that in there, and now you can have that blasting from Hot Licks, and that is gorgeous. Absolutely love it. A lot of times I don't like, blast effects like this, but when it's incorporated like this, it works very, very nicely, and I really do appreciate that they did this. That is a really fun kind of accessory to have, and necessary for him, because he's going to have that all the time. Later on, the SilverHawks all added on bird friends to kind of go along with Tallyhawk, as originally they didn't all have them, and they became very helpful later on. Sideman here was the one that was created by the twins for Bluegrass. And again, it's a guitar that you can see he can hold very, very nice. I thought it was backwards at first, but no, he obviously is going to be playing it like that. This one doesn't have any kind of attachments on here, though, that I can really see. I mean, it doesn't really do anything, unfortunately. But this is the alt mode for him, basically. But again, great detail on here. You can feel the strings going around. Great paint applications on there. Very clean. Then when you look at the back, you can see basically the underside of him. Also, you can see a slight shimmer to the paint itself, which is going to come in very, very importantly later on with the figure himself. But this is how he basically just kind of hung out. And then this is how he looks flying around. And you can see the similarities here. The wings kind of pop out. The neck section compresses down. Basically, it is exactly what you would expect it to be. When you look on the underside here, you got the feet section that kind of come out from there. Absolutely gorgeous. You got some little claw feet right there where he can hold Sideman right here. There's no articulation, which is perfectly fine, but great detail. You can, the wings are even a little bit... I don't know if it's meant to be like that or if the wings are just naturally doing that, but that is some amazing detail on there. Really quite impressive. And like I said, paint applications are great. Even when you look at the head, I don't know if it'll focus. No, probably won't, because, it's... new iPhone here doesn't have the same focus that all the other ones did. But that is a great head sculpt. Great paint applications, again, with very small details put in there. Very impressive how that turned out. Now, I messed up the lighting again. You come in too close and it messes it up. Now, coming to the figure himself, we got a lot to talk about with this. Number one, his hat. You can't have Bluegrass without his cowboy hat. And again, great detail on it. You can see how it's kind of cut off here towards the front. You got the longer back section. On the inside here is a groove that you can see, which works perfectly for fitting it on his little crest there. You get a total of 3 different head sculpts, and they're fun. I really like them. And I think that, again, they do a great job of really capturing what they're basically trying to go for here. So this one here is him smiling and being happy. This one here is him with his eyebrows raised with a little bit of a smirk. Again, all of them are really extremely well done. Paint detail is very nice on them and very clean. I do really like that. Let me see if I can get in. Yeah, see, I mean, I can get in close, but it ends up making it darker looking. There we go. That's pretty good. But again, great detail all the way around. And again, you can see that the paint applications are really crisp on this. That is really quite impressive. I am very happy with how that looks. But again, you got that little crest right there, where with that crest, you take the hat and you bring it in here and you just tuck that in like that. And now you have a really cool look for Bluegrass, which is, again, very iconic to how he looked in the cartoon. They nailed that likeness. And I'm super happy that they did, because otherwise I would have issues. But the figure itself is really what we want to know about. And again, this is where people are going to really kind of be divided on how they want their SilverHawk figures to look. Do they want them to look like the cartoon, or do they want them to look like the toys? This has a very cartoon look to it, and one thing that you're kind of seeing, if I can really capture it, you can really see the shine that is on there, which is wonderful. You do have a slight pearlescence to it as you move it around and the light hits it. It picks up slightly different colors. All the way around it does that. You can see it very, very nicely. And now people will complain, like I said, because it doesn't have that chrome look. Chrome on plastic is very hard to do. It does not last very long. And to illustrate that for you, here is my original vintage Bluegrass figure. Taking his hat off and getting this kind of out of the way right now. There is a real disappointment in the fact that when you look, like for example, right here, you can see that's wearing off. And you can even see just touching it, made it come off on there. And that's really unfortunate when you think about it, because of how typically expensive these figures are. You can also see it here in the back of it. And again, you get a little bit of that little residue left over there. Now, this is what people want for their figures, and that is a cool look. But realistically, it's not accurate anyhow in terms of the coloring on it. You can see that's more of a greenish blue, whereas that is definitely more blue. And yeah, just... I mean, I haven't really played with this in a long time. You can see some of it here down on the foot as well. So it is really unfortunate. You can see that Sideman here does a lot of that kind of thing. Like you go like that, and it kind of opens them up. So again, that's not really all that accurate either, but kind of. But you can see the difference between these. And how, again, this is a far more cartoon accurate representation of the character than what we have here. And then even still, when like you look at the head sculpts there, that is impressive. Really, really is. That is a much better representation of them. So sad about that. My Steel Will figure is a little bit better. I don't have a lot of SilverHawks. A lot of them, like I said, are pretty expensive to get your hands on, and realistically, one thing that also kind of sucks is when you get them, it's going to do that. So it really is kind of disappointing just in general that they kind of do it. So it makes it so that you don't want to buy these kind of figures. But putting this back on here, I forgot what he did, and he doesn't seem to do any. Oh no, that's right. You put this on here. I want to see if this actually still works. And you squeeze it, and then, oh yeah, that good feature still works. So again, I get people's gripe about how they look, but ultimately, I want them to look like the cartoon. I mean, would it be cool if they did chrome versions of these guys sometime in the future, maybe as like a Comic-Con exclusive or something? Maybe. Would I buy them? Probably, but I am quite happy with how the paint applications on here really did turn out. First, Articulation. The head is on a ball joint, so you can get a good range of motion going on with there. You can see that his handkerchief here is a separate piece, so this kind of moves around. The shoulders here do move in and out. There's slight ratchet joints there, which is nice. This is a little bit tighter on it. Over time, I have noticed that this one loosened up a little bit. Not bad or anything. This one is really tight, though, on them. You do have a rotation. You have a rotation at the bicep. You have a rotation at the elbow as well, which is still kind of interesting to me because of why do you need that? But you can see this is a little bit loose. I might be able to fix that just with like some of that floor polish sort of stuff. The wrists do move forward and back. They also rotate. You have an upper diaphragm joint with a ball joint there. You also do have a waist swivel, so you get a good range of motion. The pants section here is a little bit softer, so you can move the legs forward and back, get a good range of motion with it. You can also rotate them at the upper part of the thigh. Come down here to the knee. You only have a single joint there, but you get a pretty good 90-degree bend on there. And this was something that I didn't even notice with Monstar, that there's also a rotation right above, or I guess I should say right below the knee itself. I love also how he's got cowboy boots and then this nice little silver streak that goes on there. That's really cool. Ankles move forward, they move back, they move, kind of have that hacky sack. There we go. We get that hacky sack going around so you can really position him kind of however you want. So lots of articulation in the guy, and in general, very happy with how he turned out. And I kind of love how the second wave is the one that we're getting first, because those are primarily the SilverHawk figures that I have in my collection. I have from the original core group of them, Bluegrass, as you can see, and Steel Will. I do not have Quicksilver. I also don't have Steelheart. I have Copper Kid, but we even haven't gotten that announced yet. And then for another comparison, here is Monstar, and you can really see how big he is by comparison to these guys, and how much bigger he's going to get in his armored mode. Really, very, very excited. Again, as somebody who is a new customer to Super 7, I have heard all the back and forth. And as somebody who was just about to cancel their pre-orders for their SilverHawk figures due to how long it was taking to get them with all the delays, I am right now, right here, going on record as saying that I am glad that I didn't. I was really impressed with Monstar, and I'm even more impressed with Bluegrass. As I said, I know there is going to be a huge kind of polarizing aspect to these figures in terms of should they be cartoon accurate or vintage toy accurate. And I'm honestly glad that they decided to go with the cartoon look. Truthfully, I feel it is a far better representation of these characters. Obviously, the nostalgia about playing with them really makes you want that chrome, but I'm happy with the result here. And that being said, I do know some people don't like the coloring on here. But I believe while watching some reviews with Brian from Super 7, he basically indicated that it took over 20 different attempts to get the coloring for the suits as close to as what he wanted as possible. And I think that it turned out great. The sculpt on these figures is outstanding. There is no doubt that these are the SilverHawks. Bluegrass here literally looks like he jumped off the screen. The accessory count is off the charts. A ton of different hands. You get hot licks with some kind of blast effects for them. And you get the two different modes for Sideman. In general, I'm extremely, extremely happy with this. And cannot wait to get the rest. But there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Super 7's Ultimate SilverHawks of the second in command of the SilverHawks, Colonel Bluegrass. If you'd like to add this guy or any other SilverHawk figures to your collection, they are available right now in various online retailers like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth. If you decide to use Entertainment Earth, in addition to getting free shipping on a lot of orders over a certain amount, you can also save yourself 10% off of any in-stock order, which is basically going to knock off like $5 for each of these figures, which is pretty damn good if you ask me. But either way, for either of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description where you can swing on over and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Super 7 figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching, and until next time, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. And until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.
Articulation,